Thinking about moving to Northwest Ohio or the Toledo area, but just trying to figure out what suburb fits your lifestyle the best. Well, we're going to jump into that right now on the map and go through each suburb and each town around Toledo and see which one fits best for you. All right, so here we are. Just to start off, just to give you a kind of a general idea if you're not from the area, this is our Toledo metro area. To kind of give you an idea of where it is in Ohio, you're in the northwest corner, just south of Detroit, Ann Arbor. So if you're a Michigan fan, unlike myself, I'm a big Ohio State fan. It's kind of the perfect spot to be because you're still in Ohio and you can go to the game either way, whether it's in Ann Arbor or if it's down in Columbus. So we'll jump right back in here. We'll zoom in. The Toledo area basically revolves around these two interstate systems. So you've got I-475, which is basically our outer loop system, and then I-75, which runs north-south through the city and then back up into Michigan and up to Detroit. You've got a couple others that are a little bit of connectors to other areas of the city or other areas of the state, a little bit depending on which way you're going. You got I-280 that runs through Oregon, close to East Toledo, kind of some of the other small towns outside of town, and then it also connects to the Ohio Turnpike, which is a toll road that runs the length of the state east-west. So if you're looking at the Toledo metro area, you have four ways to get onto that turnpike. Um, the two most used ones in the area are going to be the one in Perrysburg, Rossford area, which is down here in the south part of town, or the one in Maumee right over here. We'll zoom in here so you can see it. The one in Maumee over here, and then the one out by the airport over here. Or, like I said, oh, come on now. Like I said, I-280 kind of runs down here and connects to it as well. So, that being said, that's kind of like your general idea of what the interstate and the commute system is in the Toledo area. Um, so we're gonna dive into some different towns in the area and see which ones might be a good fit for you, which ones might not be a good fit for you. And I'm gonna do some more deep dives into these towns on some other videos. So look out for those. There'll be new ones posted every week. Um, this is the first one. I had another YouTube channel that I just felt like was not what I really wanted it to be. So here we are. We're starting this one, and it's going to be your one-stop shop for if you're relocating or moving around Toledo to know exactly what you really want to get into. So obviously, you have Toledo. Downtown Toledo is right up here. It's a nice spot to be at. I mean, it's a lot. It's being gentrified, if you will. 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was not a great area to be in. But anymore, you've got all of these stores and all of these shops and these restaurants and all these things that are being basically redone, and it's super, super nice to be at down there. So downtown Toledo is kind of the hub. You've got Owens Corning, their world headquarters. If you know what Owens Corning is, they have like siding and insulation and basically all your building materials for homes. Um, their world headquarters is downtown Toledo on the river. So another thing to remember is the Maumee River kind of comes right through the city here. It comes out to the Maumee Bay, out Oregon area, and to give you a little bit more, you have Put-in Bay, Sandusky, where Cedar Point is, out this way. So not too far, about an hour, hour and a half at most to get to these spots. Um, so it's really a nice, small, compact city that it's only I like to say 15, 20-minute max drive to anywhere in the city, depending on where you're at. So, like I said, the Maumee River cuts through Toledo all the way down to Perrysburg and then out to Waterville, White House. This is the Anthony Wayne School District, um, down to Grand Rapids, and it keeps going and keeps going. But for the Toledo metro area, basically, I cut the metro area off at Grand Rapids and Bowling Green. Obviously, there are all these small towns out here that also kind of fit into this box, but we're gonna just we're gonna focus on these ones right here in town to begin with. So, like I said, you got downtown Toledo. It's up and coming. They've got a lot of things that have been redone. we'll see if I can drop you down here by Fifth Third Field. So Fifth Third Field is the baseball stadium for the Toledo Mud Hens, the world famous Toledo Mud Hens, I might add. Super nice stadium. It's paid off by them. If you ever are interested in learning more about the Toledo Mud Hens and their history, let me know. I love to talk about it. But this is the stadium, small little stadium. They got a bunch of suites up here in the top. It's a cool place to go for a baseball game. They are an affiliate of the Detroit Tigers. I'm a Cleveland Guardians fan, but the Tigers and Guardians have a very, very good relationship playing back and forth a lot throughout the year. So I get to see my Columbus Clippers play here in Toledo quite a bit whenever they come to town. So you can kind of see some of the other things in the area. You've got lots of, restaurants and different things. There's a parking garage right across the street, so it's nice, easy parking. And we'll just come down here to the Glass City Center. We're on the edge, but this is the Glass City Center. It's a convention center. They have a big event space up here. It's really, really nice. They just redid this entire building and redid this entire corner hotel, which is really nice. Like I was talking about Owens Corning. Here's Owens Corning back here. That's their world headquarters. Let's get to the front of the Glass City Center so you can see what it looks like. It's beautiful. If you don't know, Toledo is the glass capital of the world. The Libby's, Libby Glass out, is still here in town. Um, but they were a world-renowned glass production company. They still make glass today. They have a lot of art in the Toledo Art Museum. That's another thing we can touch on at another time. My wife actually works there. She runs the education department there. Well, not runs the education department, but runs the classes. She helps plan and, deals with all the teachers at the museum to get them all situated and runs those classes, which is really, really cool. And it's free to get into the Toledo Art Museum. So this is kind of just a little bit of downtown. You can kind of see it's a really nice, it's clean, lots of different things going on. So let's jump back out of here and go back to, I don't want satellite. Let's go to just layers. So I was saying the Toledo Art Museum, it's right up here. So here's downtown Toledo. Here's the Toledo Art Museum. Not too far. Cool building. They're in the middle of a reinstallation right now, so they're taking down all the art and not replacing it, but they are getting a lot of new artwork, and they are basically resetting it to make it all new, an all new museum. So it's like a museum of the future, which is really, really cool. They also have their glass pavilion um, down here as well. Really cool spot where they show off a lot of glass artwork. So, well, like I said, we'll jump into that some other time. Today, we're just covering some big areas of the city. So, downtown Toledo to start with, um, some of the suburbs. We're going to start in Toledo still. You have Ottawa Hills right next to the University of Toledo. Um, it's a pocket, I would like to say, of one of the top rated schools in the state of Ohio, right in the middle of Toledo. It's a public school, but you have to live in the school district to be able to go there. There's no open enrollment, anything like that. You have the St. Ursula Academy that is there as well. But you can kind of see it's a lot of estate homes, big lots, big houses, and we'll zoom in here and we can go on some of these roads so you can see. Let's go to, let's drop our little guy down on Brookside. So you can see some of the state homes, real big, set back off, tiny, small road, no center line. Um, Very nice, lots of trees, lots of common space. Um, like I said, lots of big houses. There's that guy hanging out. Another big house sitting back there. Come over here. Um, Kind of gives you an idea. Lots of gated spots, but so Ottawa Hills, there's not really a if you call town center to Ottawa Hills. Um, it's more connected to Toledo. So Ottawa Hills kind of runs The railroad tracks here is the boundary, and you've got some other not as expensive houses that are still in Ottawa Hills here. But so this railroad track is the boundary, Secor Road and Central Avenue. This is Ottawa Hills. You have the Ottawa Hills School District. It's all right here. It's all together. The high school, the junior high, the elementary school. It's all together. You got their stadium here. Let's see if we can click on and get a picture of it popped up. So you got the stadium. It's not huge. Um, but it's one of, like I said, one of the top rated school districts in the country. It is a fantastic, fantastic school district. I had a friend of mine, actually my assistant, was a teacher there for a long time, and she absolutely loved it. And when she she had her daughter, she didn't go back to teaching right away, so she's not there currently. But Ottawa Hills is the first one we're going to jump to. You're real close to what we like to call Westgate. It's basically any shopping that you need to do is here. So we'll zoom in here. You've got literally anything and everything you can ask for. A bunch of shopping. A Home Depot. There's a Lowe's. There's my wife loves this store, Crazy Bins. Lots of restaurants. Um, One of our offices, the Danbury Westgate office, is right over here. Um, but you've got coffee shops and flowers, and you got anything you can really ask for. There's a Costco right here, so I know lots of people are Costco buy, shoppers. So you got Costco right here in Westgate, not too far from Ottawa Hills. Hills is literally right here. It's like a 2-minute drive to the Costco. Um, and then you have the second neighborhood we're going to jump into here is Old Orchard, and then we're going to jump out to the suburbs of Toledo. So, Old Orchard is similar homes to Ottawa Hills, not as big. More of the homes in Ottawa Hills that are over here, they like to call this the cookie cutter or the lunchbox houses. Um, I'm not sure why they call them that, but one of the police officers there when I was interviewing for a police job, I interviewed with Ottawa Hills. That's what they had called them. I ended up being a police officer out here. Oh, zoomed way out. I ended up being a police officer out here in Oregon for a few years before I jumped into real estate. Um, but like I said, Old Orchard is a very similar spot in town, but it's Toledo School District. It's not Ottawa Hills. Um, but this is a very, very sought after neighborhood to get into. Price points anywhere from 200 to 400. Where if you go into Ottawa Hills, you're, minimum 200, 250, all the way up to 4 million. There's big, big estate houses in there. I don't know if anything's ever sold for 4 million back there, but definitely 1, 2, 3 million houses back there if they ever go up for sale. So real close to this area, you have the University of Toledo, like I had said, right across Bancroft Street. If you're a pizza fan, Stubborn Brother Pizza Bar, fantastic pizza there. Dave Portnoy came and I think I gave him like a 7, 8, or I don't know. So I don't know what the score was, but a very good score. So you've got University of Toledo right here. My wife graduated from Bowling Green State University, so when you move to the area, you'll understand that BGSU and UT, they have the Battle of 75 because BG is right down the road on 75, and Bowling Green State University sits right here. Um, so they are big rivals, and I'm just gonna say go Falcons because I'm not a huge UT fan. Like I didn't graduate from either one, so not too big of a difference for me, but you'll get the hint. Um, so Ottawa Hills, like I said, right here, cuts down the railroad tracks. You got Old Orchard, which is right here, all connected to Westgate. That's kind of where all your shopping is. But like I said, you're never more than 15 minutes away from just about anywhere in the city. So now we're going to jump down to Perrysburg. This is where I live. So you can see me out here in my house recording this. Um, but this is Perrysburg, small, small. They're still a Division 1, which is the biggest division, like when it comes to like high school sports. School district. They are also one of the top rated school districts in the state of Ohio, um, and have been for a long time. There, we love it here. Our thought when we moved to Perrysburg, before we bought the house we're in now, we lived over this way on one of these cul-de-sacs. Um, we thought, okay, my wife was an art teacher down in Bowling Green. So here's Bowling Green, still 15 minutes away. She would just take 25 down or 75 down and go to school and teach. And I was, like I said, a police officer out here in Oregon. And so that was 15, 20 minutes, to get to Oregon and actually get to the city center, which is way out here. It's actually not even like in the main part of town. It's like way out this way. Um, that was 15, 20 minutes for us. So this was like the middle point for us when we were looking to buy a house. And that's what a lot of people end up looking at Perrysburg with a closer eyes because it is kind of a centralized location, but it doesn't really seem like it. But it is because of the interstate access that you have. So here in Perrysburg, you have access to get onto I-75 in two different areas. Well, I guess I-75 once and I-475, which connects right to 75 pretty quick. Um, and you have I-25, which goes south to Bowling Green, and you can get on 75 again down that way. You also have quick access to I-80, I-90, the turnpike that takes you east-west. If you need to get to the airport quickly, you can get on 475 and come up here and get on I-80 and come out to the airport, or you can get on 20A, which is Airport Highway. Not, I'm sorry, that's not Airport Highway. Airport Highway is just north of this up here. Route 2, Airport Highway, and get out to the airport. Um, so it's a very centralized location, and that's why we picked it and one of the reasons we love it. The other reason we love it is because it has a very homey feel. Downtown is wonderful. I'll drop you down here. They're actually in the middle of doing a revitalization project downtown. I wonder if they have the tore up. They do. Look at this. So they just finished this like I'm recording this in December of 2025. They just finished this like late November. Like still haven't even hung up the streetlights again. So as you can see, they kind of dug everything out. They laid brick down and made this real wide with planter boxes, and it's really, really, really cool and nice now. Not like that it wasn't nice before. Here you go, you can kind of see the planter boxes they're putting in, and all of this is like concreted out or bricked out. The reason they're doing this is to make it more accessible to everybody, and making it a lot easier for everybody to access stores and everything else. Starting next summer or next spring, they're going to start the 100 and 200 block of downtown Perrysburg, which is right here, and going to do the same thing. They're going to push the parking out a little bit. They're going to make these sidewalks bigger. They're going to do the brickwork like this and redo it all, make it all look really nice with big planter boxes. Throughout the summertime, spring, summer, and the fall, they have the Perrysburg Farmers Market every Thursday. Um, and it's like the place to be. So they literally close off this entire road here. So we'll come over here. They close off this entire road, and there's food trucks all down this road, backing up to the railroad tracks. Um, so this is kind of crazy that this hasn't changed yet. So they have the new pictures of the uh, construction over here, which you can see is a different photo. But all of this is torn down. This is all gone. There's a big green space here, a big parking lot over here. One of my clients actually built a big, super modern house right here, and it's really, really nice. But this is a big green area. There's Rosaria's on 3rd Street, which is a coastal Italian restaurant that sits right here in a nice like wood-sided building. And then inside the Five Brewing is over here in this building. And it's really, really cool. And then there's a bunch of shops and stuff that are up on like an elevated area up here. So all of this is gone, and this is turns into like a big hub of activity during the farmers market. I wonder if we get down here to this street, if it'll update and you can see it. Yeah, so here you go. You can see the updated building. So there's shops up here. That's that Rosaria's. There's a green space down here with the brewery back here. And you can see how they close it off when it comes to the farmers market. So really cool. Um, I can't, yeah, you can see this picture is the new parking lot, but then that is not there anymore. So they like stitched it together like right here, which is interesting. So this is downtown Perrysburg. We absolutely love it. There's shops and everything down here. Um, they do hold a concert every year. It's called Boots in the Berg. They put up here you can see the banner for the farmers market. They put up a big like stage and they bring in a country artist. And this whole street shuts down and it's a free concert. And they had, like this year, they had Nico Moon. He came and played. It was a really, really cool event. Like I said, big stage here, and this whole road was packed full of people. Had a big concert, free concert for the whole city. It was a lot of fun. So you come down to the Front Street here, and you've got the namesake, Commodore Perry. So if you know anything about history or naval history, Commodore Perry fought the British um, out at Put-in Bay, the Battle of Put-in Bay, and he basically, stayed in the area of Perrysburg, and that's why they named it after him. So Commodore Perry, Perrysburg, that's where it is. So his statue is up here at the end of downtown. If you come down the hill here, you get to, I see there, this has been done for years, and they still have the photos of them doing it. Um, so this is all nice, redone. There's the Perrysburg Yacht Club sits here now. So it's a really cool um, spot to be in. They've got docks that come in down here. And there's a nice big building here. This is the Perrysburg Yacht Club. So we'll go back up the top of the hill. And we'll go down Front Street here. I would assume they have the Riverside Park done on this map. Yep, they do. So you have Riverside Park. You can look out to the islands. Here I can pull up the layers again for you so you can see what I'm talking about. How do I get back out of there? All right, so this is where we were sitting at, and that when we pulled out of there was right here. So this is Riverside Park, and you can see you're looking across to Ewing Island, Grape Island, and then this is the city of Maumee right across, which is the next one we're going to. Um, so we'll come back down here. This is all, so Riverside Park has this pathway that goes behind the Perrysburg Yacht Club. Here's the Perrysburg Yacht Club. Back down to where we came down from downtown. And then there's another pathway that was built that runs all down here. So a walking path comes down, and then there's a boardwalk that comes through to Orleans Park. And there's river access down here, and you can go down here, and there's a boat launch down here. The river's pretty low down here, so you don't want to launch any big boats down here unless the river's high. If you have a bigger boat that you want to launch down here, the Maple Street boat launch is the one you want to go to. Back your truck down in there, launch a boat, go park it. There's a big parking lot down here for you, and you can launch your boat there. So a lot of people will launch their boats in the summertime, and they will go up the river, and then they will dock downtown, either at International Park or the Glass City Metro Park. There's restaurants down here they can go to. All these are restaurants. Or Glass City Riverwalk. You can dock in here, or you can dock across at the Promenade docks and go downtown and eat, or go to a game, or whatever you want to go to. So it's pretty cool. Like if you got a boat, you can dump in Perrysburg, take the river up, go do what you're doing, kind of have a nice dinner cruise, come back, pull your boat out, and go home. It's a nice kind of perk to have. Um, Lots of neighborhood, some of the bigger houses and more expensive houses are this way in this kind of swing area. Lots of new construction going on out here. This is, one of your older neighborhoods over this way, late 80s, or late 70s, early 80s into the 90s. And then you got some brand new construction still going on here and some brand new construction still going on over here. Um, and then like these are like 90s and 80s houses back in this way. And then you get into Old Perrysburg, which is the boundaries. And those are your more I don't want to say cost effective because a lot of them are super nice and like if you get downtown, they can be super expensive houses. Um, but your average price point in Perrysburg is probably in the 250 range. Can you find them under that? Absolutely. Um, but they're hard to find. I would say your average price point out this way is 350 to 400. For that you go for 400 plus, 450 plus. Out here you're in the 556. And then out in this one, you're getting into the 8, 9 million range where like everything in this area is in that 900 plus. Um, so this is all new construction over here as well. This is Buckeye Builders. This is Saba Home Builders. Um, so uh, lots of building still going on in Perrysburg is a very growing growing city. Um, One of the other big draws, and then we'll jump to the next city is Levis Commons. So Levis Commons is like your outdoor mall. So they've got I can here I'll drop you down in here to Levis Commons. So our office is actually in Levis Commons, um, where my office is. This is kind of the entrance. You come in off of Route 25 out here, and then you've got Levis Commons, where you've got pretty much anything you can think of when it comes to shopping. You got a Books A Million, there's a Starbucks, there's what's called Barry's Bagels, which is fantastic. Lots of different stores throughout, and lots of restaurants, lots of buildings still going on in here in Levis Commons. If you're like me and you like loaded potatoes, any type of loaded potatoes, fries, tater tots, Bar Louie's loaded tots are fantastic. They put a big Christmas tree up right here every year. So they just did that lighting not too long ago. Like I said, lots more shops. Like they just opened an Anthropologie and a Shake Shack, and they're opening Lululemon and putting in a Chipotle over by my office. Um, this whole thing this is being developed right now. They're building a building right here. Eventually, they're going to build over this way. You got some hotels and the clock tower back here, and some of the nicer or bigger restaurants. Oh, that's interesting that they have the building back there, but not down here. So this whole building is a restaurant now. So let's see if I can get to the end here. Yep, so there you go. So Claude's Prime Seafood, which is now, I think, been renamed to Claude's like Pub and Bistro. Um, Benchmark Steakhouse, super nice. Nagoya Japanese Steakhouse. There's a comedy club right here. Upstairs, and an arcade bar, pizza place. These are like luxury apartments back here. And then you've got one of the hotels right here. If we come back this way, you've got, like I said, you got the luxury apartments over here, and then you have the Brownstone Village. These are kind of like a villa or like a brownstone in like New York City, that can be super expensive. They can go anywhere from $300,000 to $700,000 depending on the finishes and everything inside of them. Um, but lots of different options for living or staying in Levis Commons and even just in Perrysburg. This is an old photo. That's torn down. That whole building's torn down. Let's see. There we go. It's back in. Tea Tree Asian Bistro. Absolutely love that place. So here, let me zoom back out so you can see where I'm at in Levis Commons. So here's where we jumped into Levis Commons. And then over here is where I'm at, this area right here. This is where my office is right here. Um, so we can pull it up. There it is. It just says work. That's hilarious. But Danbury Realtors Perrysburg's right here. So that's where my office is. When- And that's kind of Levis Commons in a nutshell. There's a lot of other stuff back here. And then there's a bunch of more commercial back in this way. There's like Schutz and Owens, Illinois, Glass. They're world headquarters is right here in Lovis Commons. Our global headquarters, they call it. So here's OI Glass Plaza. Super cool company there. And like I said, here's all those other houses and some of the schools and whatnot. So that's kind of Perrysburg in a nutshell. I'm gonna kind of cut this down short, and next week we're gonna jump into some of the. I'm gonna cover Maumee, and then next week's video we'll jump into. Um, we'll jump out to Oregon, and then we'll jump over to Sylvania, so you can kind of get the east and the west side of Toledo, and then uh, we can kind of hit some more of the other stuff as well. So just to kind of finish off Perrysburg, some of it's Perrysburg, some of it's Rossford, but if you were looking for the shopping portion, all of that is out here. Rossford's on this side, Perrysburg's on this side. When it comes to schools, Thompson Road cut off. It's like Echo Junction south of that on the east side of Thompson Road is Rossford Schools, the west side is Perrysburg Schools. If you ever have questions, you're looking at a house in that area and you want to know which one it is, just let me know. I can look that up for you, or I should know right off the top of my head. Um, but like I said, lots of shopping out this way. Here, I'll drop my little guy back down in here. Um, we'll come up here. Oh, snowy one. Love that. So, you got Kohl's. It's like what it looks like outside right now. I don't know, we're back to summer. Okay. So you've got literally all the shopping you could ask for. There's a Chick-fil-A, Seven Brew. There's a Walmart over here, a Culver's. There's a Meijer, which is a grocery store. Um, you got Lowe's back here. And kind of everything's just kind of off this main drag, Fremont Pike, US 20. Like I said, there's Meijer, there's a bunch of restaurants and stuff back in here. You got your Target and TJ Maxx and Home Depot, Ashley Home Store, some more restaurants back here. Um, so it kind of gives you an idea. There's a lot of shopping right there still. When we do the more deep dive into just a Perrysburg video, I'll dive into my like favorite spots to go because like if I'm just going for a quick grocery run, I'm not going all the way over here to Meijer or a Kroger. Like Kroger's up here. Here's Meijer. You got Cane's. This is all, more restaurants, Condado, Buffalo Wild Wings, bunch of other stuff. So if I'm just doing a quick grocery run, we live over this way. I'm probably just going to stop right here at, oh, come on now, at Wall Churchill's Market. It's like just a little grocery store. Or if I'm running through downtown, then I stop at Kazmeyer's grocery store, Kazmeyer's Market, and grab something quick there. So, if you haven't gathered, I like to shop local instead of the big chains, but that's just me. Um, so, like I said, we'll jump over to Maumee real quick, and then we're going to end the video, and we're going to jump out to the other ones more next week. So here we are. Perrysburg and Maumee used to be a big rivalry when it came to like high school sports. The only problem is Maumee is kind of landlocked, right? They're stuck between Toledo, which is right here. Um, if you basically the I-80 is the line. So this side's Maumee, this side's Toledo. Um, and Maumee kind of stretches to Heather Downs Boulevard. It almost ends at I-80 essentially. So it's landlocked between I-80 and then, this is a Maumee address, but like Maumee schools basically ends, it's cut in and out of some of these neighborhoods. So it's not a big area. So a lot of the school district comes from just the downtown and some of these areas in here. So that's why it's not become such as much of a rivalry anymore, unfortunately, which is kind of sad. So Maumee, they have their historic Uptown Maumee, a fun place to go, lots of nice restaurants, some bars to go to. Um, the Village Idiot, probably one of my favorite pizzas in the area. Um, we'll drop our little guy down here to downtown Maumee so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. They just redid their downtown as well. Um, So thankfully, it's updated, so you can kind of see they have their arches uptown Maumee when you come across the bridge from Perrysburg. Um, that's the if I had a downside to Perrysburg, I mean there are others obviously, and I'll dive into those in my deeper dive of Perrysburg. But when it comes to getting in and out of Perrysburg, if you want to cross the river, you have two options. It's either cross that bridge that gets backed up like crazy. Not so much anymore that this is all open, but it still does like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You better be planning to sit on this bridge for 10 minutes. It just is what it is. Now, if you're coming out of Maumee, not as bad, right? Because you're going from one lane into two lanes, and then you can split off in Perrysburg and not have a big problem. But if you're coming into Maumee, it's going two lanes down to one straight lane into downtown or uptown Maumee. So it can be a little bit of a bottleneck. Um, but I would say the only other way to cross the river from Perrysburg is to get on the interstate or go up River Road to Rossford and still get on the interstate to cross the river. Um, so that would be a downside to being in Perrysburg if you're like, trying to take back roads and not get on the interstate every time. So here's Uptown Maumee. We just kind of run down this way. If it would load for me, there we go. So like I said, shops, restaurants, there's a chocolate place. I get a lot of my gifts for clients and stuff here. The Village Idiot is in an old bank. Really, really cool spot. Really good pizza. They got live music 7 days a week. Um, it's pretty cool. There's coffee shops, some other restaurants. You get the city building over here. I'm going to show you one of the coolest places in all of the Toledo metro area, and that is the old uh, Maumee Indoor Theater. So here's the Maumee Indoor Theater, old movie theater. There's two main movie theaters, and then there's a gathering space in the back. You can rent it out. So like, we've had people do client appreciation events in there and rent out the entire theater, play a movie. But it's pretty cool. They always have themed movies in the, throughout the years, like Halloween, they'll play the old Beetlejuice, Christmas time, they'll play Christmas movies. But it's pretty cool. So let's jump back out to the layers. Here's Airport Highway, kind of like the main thoroughfare if you're not getting on the interstate. I'm sorry, the Anthony Wayne Trail. Airport Highway is up here. Sorry about that. The Anthony Wayne Trail is kind of like the main thoroughfare for Maumee. It takes you all the way into Toledo, all the way downtown. Here's downtown Toledo. You go past the zoo. You go past the Toledo Country Club, all on the Anthony Wayne Trail and back into Maumee. Um, the Anthony Wayne Trail also comes out here and jumps onto 475. So you can get on 475, come up here and get on you can come over here and get on the turnpike. I really wish 475 and the turnpike was all one, but it comes off of 20, which is fine. You just come up 20, which is a 4-lane road. There's a lot of your shopping, like your Meijer and your Kroger and all your other grocery stores and stuff are right over here as well. Then you get on the interstate for the turnpike to either go east, west, come out to the airport, or whatever you need to do. Um, the other golf course that's nearby in Maumee is Brandywine Country Club. It's a semi-private, whereas like in Perrysburg, you've got two golf courses. You've got Crosswinds, that's all public out this way off of 20, and it's probably right here. Where are we at here? Am I crazy? I don't know. I can't pinpoint. It's somewhere right in here. It's not a very sought after place to play, but it is nice if you're just learning. The other one is Belmont Country Club. Super nice country club to be at and play at. So there's Belmont Country Club that kind of splits between Rossford and Perrysburg. So back to Maumee, you've got the Brandywine Country Club. So if you're ever thinking of if you're listening to the radio, if you're a farmer, the Andersons, one of their headquarters is here in Maumee. They've got all their silos and their train tracks and all that stuff right here. Um, and then you kind of jump out. Once you leave Maumee, like I said, it's landlocked. There's not a lot of growth going on as much as there is just like redoing things in Maumee. And you jump out to Monclova and Waterville and White House. This is all Anthony Wayne School District. And then you have Springfield School District up here. Then you have Sylvania Southview, Sylvania Northview. And you have Whitmer up in here. And then Toledo Metro, Ottawa Hills. So you have Toledo City Schools basically everywhere else. And then you got Oregon City Schools. And then you jump down here to Rossford Schools. You have Lake Schools out here. Um, and then, like I said, Perrysburg. And then you have Otsego is over here in West Wood County. Wood County is where Perrysburg is, and Bowling Green. You have Bowling Green City Schools. And then you have Eastwood Schools out here in the Pemberville area. Um, and then there's obviously some more that kind of trickle in and out. But those are like the main school districts that are in the area. But like I said, we're going to cut it short here. We're going to just cover Perrysburg, Maumee. Our next video, we'll jump into covering, um, Sylvania and Oregon, and then maybe we'll jump into Monclova, Waterville, and all of that. So if you're thinking of moving to Northwest Ohio, the Toledo area, please make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I absolutely love to help people find their new home, whether you're relocating to the area or you're moving in and around the Toledo area. I would love to help you out.